Hi everyone, my name is John Ramos and today I will be presenting about static verbs and dynamic verbs. In these presentations, we are going to look at the definitions of the two types of verbs, how they are used, and the difference between them. Let's get started. Static verbs. Static verbs are verbs that describe a state or condition. These verbs are not used to express an action, but rather describe situations that are constant or static. They often refer to emotions, thoughts, senses, and possession. For example, I know him. Here, know expresses a state of knowledge. She owns a car. Own shows possession, not an action. And I believe in you. Believe describes a state of mind. Dynamic verbs. Dynamic verbs, on the other hand, describe an action or process. These verbs express things that happen or change over time. They are used to talk about activities, moments, and events. For example, I'm running. Running is an action, something happening at the moment. She's eating lunch. Eating is an action. They are in studying English. Studying refers to an enjoy activity. The difference between stative and dynamic verbs. Now, let's compare the two types of verbs. Dynamic verbs describe actions that happen or change. Static verbs describe the state that are not changing or actions that don't involve movement. Using continuous tense. Dynamic verbs can be used in continuous, progressive tenses, like I am eating. Static verbs are typical to not use in continuous tense. For example, we don't usually say I'm knowing him. We just say I know him. Example, in stative, I love pizza. Describe a state of affection. In dynamic, I'm loving that pizza. Describes an ongoing action. So this is less common use. And when verbs cannot be static or dynamic. When the verb describes an action that changes constantly. Some verbs can be used both in their static and dynamic forms depending on the context. But in some cases, their meaning can make them not feeling fit into one of the two categories. For example, the verb think. Static, thinking in an state. I think he is right. Here, think refers to a belief or thought, a mental state. In dynamic, thinking as an action. I'm thinking of the problem. Here, thinking describes an activity happening at the moment. Would the verb describe a change of a state or a very quick action? Verbs like become or get can be completed because they describe rapid transformations that might go beyond a continued action or state. For example, state, she is becoming angry. Here it describes a process, but it's in a category between action and state. In dynamic, she became angry. Here it describes an action that happened in the past, when the verb refers to a situation of movement, but it isn't used with continuity. Verbs like have and possess can describe a state, but sometimes they are used in contexts that amply change or movement, and it is difficult to classify them strictly as stative or dynamic. Thank you for your attention. I hope this explanation about stative verbs and dynamic verbs has been helpful. Have a great day.